Yes,
Yes.
it is a contest.
$1 million.
Billions, zillions.
It was like the last man standing wins. But at the same time, I never felt like I was in competition with these guys. It was more about
and going,
finding your own limits.
Yeah, and going into it, there, you know, once the cut was made, there was 10 of us, and we were together up in Vancouver. We didn't feel like competitors to one another because we may have started thinking that way, but as we got into the realization of what we were about to do, we realized the only person you're competing against is yourself. And it, you know, you'll learn a lot about yourself, you know.
But cannibalism wasn't off the top. I mean, if I bumped into you,
I asked about raiding camps, and they said verboten.
Yeah,
No,
we couldn't do that.
No. So.
Stalk each other.
I just want somebody to cuddle with. I didn't want you to eat them. I need somebody to cuddle up with me and keep me warm.
Pretty embarrassed for that. Yeah. The danger element was off the charts. We were at the cougar attack capital of the world.
Yes.
They told us, there was a cougar attack about 2 miles from where we're going to push you to lie.
Last week.
Just last week.
Yeah.
Man got out of his kayak to defecate.
Now,
Cougar got him.
he was dressed like a seal.
Not like a Navy SEAL.
Not a Navy SEAL. Like a
SEAL.
With a ball on his nose.
Yeah.
Yes, he was dressed. He had a black wetsuit on. He went into the woods to make his business, and he heard a little rustle, and the thing turned and jumped, thinking he was I had a seal that was near me. Pretty much every day I would talk to him and call him. And
I didn't have any pets.
He never came. He never wanted anything else to do with me, and I was totally impressed by that. Yeah.
They'd watch me bathe. They'd be there in the water.
Crazy albino seal.
Seals are belligerent too. If you don't acknowledge them, they'll flash water. Look at me now. He's looking.
Yes,
Of course, he was bathed in an ankle-deep water. He's not telling the story.
What was your most memorable occasion? Can you tell that?
The rain.
Yeah, the thing that sticks in your mind is the absolute incessant. When you can pick wood up from the ground and just wring the water out of it.
Besides the rain.
Okay,
The cold?
I got one, dark. I love the dark.
Oh yeah.
My wife will tell you, I walk around the house, turning lights off. I love it in the dark. I'm your biggest advocate if you're into saving electricity and power with, saving turning your lights off. But I can tell you, I've never seen dark like this place. The trees were, in the area I was in, were really big. They were, what are they called? Spruce? Cedar, spruce.
Cedar, spruce, Douglas
60, 70 feet tall.
500-year-old trees. This was true native wilderness.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Mankind had not been in there. We got permission from the
Natives.
local tribe to go in.
And they literally had ancestors buried. They buried in boxes by the trees. But anyway, the most memorable part for me was the dark. So dark, and you'll hear the stories hand in front of your face. Well, it was so dark you literally could not see your hand in front of your face. There were times at night that I didn't know if I was awake or asleep. I'd have like these moments. I'm like, am I asleep? Am I
eyes open or closed?
My eyes are closed. Yeah, you didn't know. It was so dark. I did see some foxfire, not very much, which some people have never seen that before. It's like the little glowy things and decaying root stumps, mostly around water.
He was hallucinating.
And I was, and I was hallucinating too. I saw some pretty interesting things there. But yeah, darkness is the most memorable thing for me.
And like you said, that dark too, like he said, I've never experienced dark like that. I did the same thing. I'd lay in my shelter at night like this, just going, there it is. See it coming? At night, if I had to get up and go take a leak, there was a big spruce tree right in front of my shelter, a huge spruce tree. I couldn't wrap my arms around it. I would come out and put my hand on it, and I'd walk around the edge of the tree, keeping one hand there the whole time, do business, and make my way. Because if I let go of that tree, I know I wouldn't find it. I mean, it was that dark.
Plumbing in my shelter.
Yeah. MacGyver.
I'll say no more, but I had plumbing. I wasn't going out in that. Yeah.
Truth be told, I did too.
We know there was no hooking up.
Yeah, good question. We met at a hangar. It was this. You come here off the line. No, we met at this old hangar, and it looked like something out of a horror movie on Glass Knockout.
It was a whaling station from the 1800s, actually. The structure was.
Yeah, from way back. And so I flew out on a helicopter. One guy went out on a boat. Another guy went out on a float plane. And we didn't see each other since, except for now we're seeing each other. And the other guys I don't know. I don't know about their experience. They don't know about mine or the time or the duration.
They worked really hard to keep us isolated.
They did good, and we were really, really far apart. There wasn't a danger of, oh, I'm going to run into you.
Yeah, you weren't going to decide, I'm going to hike my way to
Yeah.
find somebody. It just physically wasn't possible because of the barriers that they made sure kept us in a
And
box.
they knew on the computer. Well, originally,
Was that like Survivor, where you kind of going on?
There was the goal here wasn't to get out. The goal here was to stay.
How much can you take until you snap or die?
Yeah.
We were driving the other direction. How long can you do this?
And the physical barriers are there. Like for me, I had a river that there was no way I was going to ford. I couldn't ford. Then I had cliffs on one side that this body's not meant to climb. So here I am. What have I got? You know, and that's what you had. You just dealt with what you had on the ground.
yes, sir.
Can you say what kind of stuff did y'all take in?
We were allowed to select. Let me see.
Well, here's how I would describe it. There was a list
An approved list of items.
that we did not make.
No.
Yeah, it would look different. And there were a certain number of things that we could select off the list, and that was it.
Yeah.
And there was a list of things that you definitely could not have.
Which didn't make sense to me.
Watch, compass, things like that. We had no way to navigate other than
The stars you couldn't see.
yeah,
right?
the stars that you couldn't see, the moon you couldn't see, the sun that I never saw. Maybe one time I saw a glimpse and then it was gone.
It was like, what's that?
And yeah, I did catch a glimpse of it one time. And then after that, it was just back to cloud. So there was no way to navigate really. And the jungle was so dense, like I say, just to walk 20 feet, you'd be disoriented and soaking wet.
And soaking wet.
Wet.
The topography there it's a rainforest. I mean, it's in Vancouver, but it is a rainforest for real. You know, prehistoric ferns that are growing this tall that, you know, just you're waiting to see a dinosaur pop his head out of these things. And the ground is full of holes which of course you can't see because of these ferns are this tall. So you're wet, and there's a lot of video of that. There's a lot of video of people just disappearing. You know, and like me, there's one here with a lot of cussing of, where's that camera? I'm down there scratching around. So it was not fun.
If you were each alone,
We filmed it. We filmed it ourselves. You're going to see a lot of this. Walking with a camera. We had little cameras that you could put on a tree.
Just like this
that
camera
type
right
of
here,
thing.
man. We had one just like that. We had
GoPros.
little GoPro cameras,
On
these
your
little
head.
tiny cobras you can put on your head, and we also had a larger handheld camera that we could put on a tripod
yeah.
or carry it around.
And we tried, in that, we tried to always have, they gave us a lot of training on how to use the cameras and how to frame a shot. So like, all right, I need to go cut some firewood. Well, it's not as easy as I'm just going to take my tools and go out and cut some firewood. I've got to get some cameras out. Where am I going to go to find the firewood? Oh, I got to set a camera up so I catch myself walking in. I got to get the camera over here. And they always wanted kind of two angles if we could pull it off. So that added a monumental amount of work to it. And then you realize that the red light's not on. Damn, I got to do this again. You know,
And for me, one of my coolest moments happened, and I didn't have a camera in my hand, and I was probably 50 yards from my camera, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I had something really cool happen, and it would have made for good TV, and I'm sure it would have made the cut, and it never made it because I didn't have my camera. So that was the biggest thing for us was you know, it's hard enough to know how to survive or to stay alive, but also to be able to remember all these, how to operate the camera, how to operate the
mics.
What was the thing that makes where you can shine it into the sun? Because I was on the west side, and the sun's right there.
Oh, resetting the camera.
No, some kind of thingy where you can
filters.
Filter, yeah, you can filter the sun.
The glare out of it.
I missed that in class that day.
Yeah, you must have been asleep.
So you can't even share what you didn't film?
No, I'm not going to share it. Yeah, I can share it, I guess. But I'm not going to share what it was. I had gone back into the interior and learned a couple of interesting facts that I'm not going to talk about. But anyway, I was trying to get back, and I fell off of there was a fallen log, and I was trying to skate. I can't describe to you how slippery this place is. The whole place is just slippery. When the tide's out and you have rocks, you have bladderwrack, which is a seaweed that's got it's almost like a succulent with a gel in it, and it's real slimy. And you can't walk on the stuff, and the rocks are just jagged. So you had that. And then when you're on the interior, if you try to get up and walk across a log, try to bounce. And these logs, I'm talking about a log the size of your car, it's still it's just as slick as ice. And I took a tumble, did a flip, and landed in this in a marsh. And I was like, you know, that'd been really, really. Now, I'm not going to tell you why I did that, because more than likely it'll be on the show, I think. But it didn't show up. At least the part of me showing up or having the camera flipping around in circles didn't show up because I didn't have a camera.